Assalamu alaikum. This is lecture number 18 of Global Business Management. The topic of today's lecture is global strategy. Okay, we have 4 learning objectives of today's lecture. The first one is to understand the concept of strategy. The next one is to understand how firms can profit from expanding their activities globally. The third one is be familiar with the different strategies for competing globally. And the fourth one is how cost pressure influences a firm's choice of global strategy. Okay, before we start today's lecture, we first quickly go through the major points of last lecture. In the last lecture, we had discussed about countries' exchange rate systems. A country following a pegged exchange rate system pegs the value of its currency to that of the another major currency. That was the pegging exchange rate system. The countries usually using the currency board commit to converting their domestic currency on demand into another currency at a fixed exchange rate. These are the two different systems we had discussed. The pegging exchange rate, in which a currency will be pegged against the another currency, and if that currency is going to go up, and if currency A is pegged with currency B, if in a way what happens, the currency A will follow the trends of currency B. If it's go up and down, it's in a similar way this currency will go up and down. This is the pegging. The benefit of pegging is the inflation will be at certain under the controlled, and supply of money will be under control. These are the more controlled system. But on the other hand, it will give you less autonomy of or independence when you are in the monetary policy, because you are 100% following the another currency. In the another one, some countries have the currency boards, which what they do, that they maintain the reserve against the domestic money, and however much the currency they are producing, they are printing in the domestic market, that currency, that domestic notes or currency will be backed by reserves of foreign currency, and that foreign currency mean dollars or pound or euros. These are the 3 major currencies. Like China does that. China have they have the currency board, and they their local currency yuan. Their yuan is backed by foreign currency reserves, and that's why the China has largest foreign currency reserve in the world. After that, we had discussed about the 3 different types of crisis which IMF tackles. The first one is the currency crisis, the next one is the banking crisis, and the third one is the foreign debt crisis. What do I mean by currency crisis? Currency crisis occurs when a speculative attack on the exchange rate of a currency results in a sharp depreciation in the value of a currency, or forces authorities to expend large volumes of international currency reserves and sharply increases the interest rate in order to defend prevailing exchange rates. In the currency crisis occur when a crisis exchange rate or crisis comes under the speculative attack. The speculators attack that this currency will be devalued in the near future, and because of the bandwagon effect, the other investors are going to follow the same trend. And mostly because the economic significance of the USA, like the Asian crisis, currency crisis, they started because of the speculators of the USA. The speculators of USA, they speculated that for instance, Thai baht will be devalued in the near future, and they start selling that Thai baht, and this trend will be followed by the other investors in the USA. Subsequently, the whole European market, they followed the same. They joined the bandwagon, and they started selling the Thai baht as well. And what was the negative thing? What happened that because of this thing, or because of only the speculations, people start selling this thing, the supply of Thai baht increase in the domestic market in the Thailand, and the value of Thai baht devalued. I mean, it reduced, or it depreciated. This is the one thing that, the first thing that occurs in the currency crisis. And the second thing which may occur in the currency crisis is that the intervention of the government. Because of these speculations, because of this thing that the supply of Thai baht increased, the government jumped in. The government had two options at that time. The first one is government start buying that Thai baht from the market, and rather than providing more foreign currency in the domestic market. To reduce the main intention of this thing is to reduce the supply of Thai baht. Of course we have learned this thing concept that if the supply of local currency or anything will be increased, supply of money increase, the inflation will increase as well, and overall and subsequently the currency will be devalued. And because of this, to stop the supply of money, to stop the increased supply of money, as government could start buying the local currency. This is the one way. The second way the government could do is increase the interest rate. Because of increasing the interest rate, it attracts the foreign investors or domestic investors to invest the money. By investing, what happens? That by investing in they are going to deposit the foreign currency or local currency. In a way, they are trying to reduce the amount of local currency within the economy. All these steps are in order to these are the counter steps that a government can do against the speculative attacks. Okay, and the next one is the banking crisis, which is referred to the situation in which a loss of confidence in the banking system leads to a run on the banks, and individuals and companies withdraw their deposits. This is a second type of crisis in which the investors or individuals, they lose the confidence from the banking system, and as a result, what they do, they withdraw their deposits. And as we know that the banks are playing a important role within the economy, they take the money from the individual and investors, and they lend that money to the another individual or investors who are going to build the companies, or they are going to provide the jobs, and they are provide the more production and output of growth output. It will increase. It will eventually affect positively on the economy. When people start withdraw their money from the banks, of course the banks are nothing without the people's money, and they will be collapsed. This is called the banking. This situation is called the banking crisis. And the next one that we had discussed is the foreign debt crisis. Foreign debt crisis is a situation when a country cannot service its foreign debt, when they cannot repay their foreign debt obligations, whether private sector or the government debt. The famous examples of foreign currencies are the Mexican currency crisis in 1995, which was a result of high Mexican debt and a peg exchange rate that did not allow for the natural adjustment of prices. Importantly, in 1994 they signed the NAFTA contract, and because of this contract, the multinational companies from USA and Canada, they entered in the Mexico, and a lot of money entered in the capital, injected in the Mexican economy. And because of this thing, because of this inflow of the capital, prices of Mexican peso or prices of the products within the Mexico should be adjusted accordingly. But because they were following the pegging exchange rate system, because of this pegging, they couldn't adjust the prices automatically, And the second reason was the high debts within the Mexican economy. These were the two reasons of foreign currency crisis in Mexico. To keep Mexico from defaulting on its debt, IMF created a 50 billion aid package for Mexico. Similarly, in 1997, several key Thai financial institutions were about to crash, about to default because of speculation against the baht. Thailand abandoned a baht peg and allowed the currency to float freely. All IMF loans required tight macroeconomic and monetary policies. This is the important aspect of the IMF loans, that they were given on the condition of tight public expenditure cuts, high taxes, and privatization, and these are the and tight monetary policies. These are the different monetary and macroeconomic and monetary policy requirements that IMF demand against their packages. However, the critics worry about the strategies of IMF. The first important point which they raise is that one-size-fits-all approach to macroeconomic policy is inappropriate for many countries. The requirements, the monetary requirements which are set for one country will be the same for the another country. This is the main important drawback of the IMF loans. And the second one is IMF is encouraging moral hazards. When people behave recklessly because they know they will be saved if things go wrong, IMF is encouraging the moral hazard problem. It can be explained in this way, that despite IMF is observing that the money that they lend to that country is going in the hands of only the elite people, and it's not utilized properly, and it's because of the corruption and because of the moral hazard problems, and because of the poor corporate governance. Even then they keep giving the loans to those countries. This is another drawback of IMF, because from the IMF point of view, they claim this thing that they will not intervene in the political issues, political matters of that country. But the critics, they claim this thing that when they are providing the loan, they have to consider the political situation of that country as well. If the money is going in the hands of the corrupt people, of course IMF should stop lending those countries. The third point which they raise, IMF is too strong, too influential as a single institution. They say that IMF is too strong and IMF is controlling several countries through their controlling their monetary policies. And what they're claiming this thing, that this thing comes under the new colonialism, which states that under this new system, the governments of developed countries like USA or some exploitatory governments, they don't need to rule other countries directly by sitting there in person. What they can do, they can go there, and they don't need to go there. Rather, they can control their monetary policies through IMF loans, and they can rule their economies. And this is exactly what happening in the third world countries, in the especially in Asia, in Africa, in South America. All those countries are under the influence of USA, and these countries are controlled by USA through IMF. This is the third point which the critics raised. And what is for the business managers in currency management exercises? The first thing the managers should be aware of is currency management. Currency management is the manager should know about what is the exchange rate system that country is following. If the Of course, when we talk about the exchange rate, that means that business is running in different countries, and managers should know that the other countries, what sort of exchange rate system they are following. The next one is the business strategy. Business strategy should be flexible. If if the currency comes under speculative attack or something, the business strategy should be adjustable in a quick time. The third one is the business government relations. Business have the ability to influence the government decisions or monetary decisions, and they have some relationship to survive their businesses. Okay, the three important aspects what we are going to discuss in the business strategy are like this: that what actions can managers take to compete more effectively as an international business? When companies are operating in international markets, what managers should do to compete effectively in global arena? The second point is, how can firm increase the profit through international expansions? This is important because very important point, because all firms, the main intention, the main motive, objective of the firms is to earn the profit, and when they enter in the foreign market, they go with the same intention. And the third one is what international strategy should firm pursue? That's a really critical question. What sort of strategy they should follow to be successful in the international market and to increase their profit in the international market and to compete effectively in the international market? What sort of strategy they should follow? Okay, first of all, we have to see about what is meant by the strategy. A firm strategy refers to the actions that managers take to attain the goals of the firm. Profitability can be profitability can be the one goal, and this is a major important goal of the company. Okay, if we put alternatively, the business strategy is considered as the actions, the plan that managers should adopt to achieve the set goals of the company. And these main important goal is to earn the profit. The profitability can be defined as the rate of return the firm makes on its invested capital. Okay, profitability. What's the meaning of profitability? Profitability is the return on its investments. Return on investment. It can be measured on return on investments, and the money that they spended, the money that invested, and what level of and what amount of return they are attaining from that investment. The next one is the profit growth. Profit growth is a percentage increase in net profit over time. Profit growth is the percentage of profit that a firm is making over the period of over several years. What sort of in what percentage mean compared to previous year, to what percent the profit is increased or decreased. Expanding internationally can boost profitability and profit growth. Okay, important aspect is when firms enter in international market, they can boost their profitability, direct their income, the profit, and the second thing is they can increase their profit growth. They can increase their profit growth mean in compared to previous years when they were operating in the domestic market. They compared to that year they were doing, and they can increase the level of their growth compared to last year or compared to years when they were in domestic market. Only in domestic market they can increase the profit as well. Okay, if we see graphically about the strategy of the firm, we can see that what are the different determinants of enterprise value. There are two things: the profitability and profit growth. These are two things. Profitability can be achieved through reduced costs and added value and raised prices. And profit growth can be achieved through sell more in existing market and enter new markets. these are the two different, and we have to be really careful about these things, that profitability and profit growth. Profitability is achieved through the reducing the costs, overall cost, the money that they are spending to make certain products. And the second thing is to add value and raise prices. Add value mean what exactly the they are offering to the customers. The price consumer is willing to pay for a product is measured of a value of a product to customer. This is called value. Value or what is something new with the product, what something extra what other companies are not offering in their products. Might be that can be the quality of product, that can be the some services, extra services, some sort of after sale services. These can be the some uniqueness, some improved quality, or some customized thing. Might be the product is made exactly on the demands of the customer, and these are the things that can add value to the product, and which can raise price, and firms can gain more profit through raising the prices of that added value. Okay, for growth, firm can sell more in existing market. They can increase the level of products, and the second one is they can search for new markets as well. Okay, what is the meaning of a value creation? Value creation is the performance of actions that increases the worth of goods, services, or even a business. Okay, I repeat. Performance. The value creation is a performance of action. Value creation is action that increases the worth of goods. This is the important thing. Such actions, such strategy, such processes which increase the worth of products, goods, services, or the overall business. A business is composed to different value creation activities. Okay, business has several value creating activities like production, marketing, material management, R&D, HR, information system, and we can categorize them primary activities or support activities. Okay, business is composed of different value creation activities. If we go back to the statement, the first statement, the actions that increase the worth of goods. This we should be focused on this thing, and we can apply each element of value of like production. Production can be used to increase the worth of products. If the production is if the quality is the high quality products are produced, and of course if the default products are not there in the whole product set, then of course the value of the worth of that product will be increased if the quality is increased. Marketing. If the marketing is really good, and the product is presented in such a way that look like, and that shows the exact feature of that product, and that shows more worth of that goods, and that appeal to the customers. And the second thing is material management. From procurement to distribution, all these steps, procurement, production, distribution, all these steps, in all these processes, the material is managed properly. If the material management properly, they can create value, and they can reduce the cost to create value as well. Now, all these things, they are creating the worth of products, increasing the worth of products. Or R&D, they can invent something new and add those features in the products. HR, they can HR mean human resource, these different steps: production, marketing, material management, R&D is managed by more efficient people, and it is done in a more efficient, most efficient way, which can increase the worth of goods. And information system is also helpful in increasing the worth of goods. Okay, we can categorize these different processes, different value creation activities into the primary and supportive activities. Primary activities, it has to do with creating the products, marketing and delivering the products to buyers, and providing support and after sales service to the buyers of a product. For example, efficient production can reduce the cost of creating value and add value by increasing product quality. Efficient production can reduce the cost of creating value and add value by increasing product quality. That's totally understandable. Efficient market. Efficient market can help the firm to reduce its costs, creating value, and add value by helping the firm customize its products to the customer needs and differentiate its products from competitor products. From efficient marketing, marketing can help in increasing the worth of goods by providing or gathering the requirement of the customers and passing on this information to the production unit and asking them or demanding them to produce products, customized products according to the needs of the customers. Because due to this sort of things, they can increase the value of the goods, and they can create value, and they can reduce the cost of create value and differentiate its product. Through the marketing, they can differentiate the differences. They can bring out the differences between their products from the competitor's product. Okay, the next category is sport activities. Sport activities provide the input that allow the primary activities of production and marketing to occur. Sport activities are also helpful in creating the values. For example, material management and R&D. These are helpful. They facilitate the primary activities, and they can create values, and they can support in creating values through primary activities, and they can reduce the cost to create values through primary or through themselves. Okay, value creation is measured by a firm. It is measured by a firm. The difference between the price that a firm can charge for that product given competitive pressure, and C. I repeat that thing. Value creation is measured by the difference between V and C. It is measured between the price and the cost. Simple as the value creation is the difference between price and cost. Important thing is this is the value of a firm is measured in this way. Higher the value customers place on a firm's product, the higher the price the firm can charge for those products, and the greater the profitability of the firm. If the customer value that products more, and that means that companies can demand higher prices for those products. When the prices are higher, of course the profitability of the companies will be higher as well. Okay, graphically, if we see this thing, we can see in this way that VP. First of all, if we go from the left hand side, the V, the vertical line V shows that the value of a product to an average customer, for a customer, which comprised of V minus P, the consumer surplus per unit, PC, from P to C, that's the profit per unit sold, and the C, cost of product. These are okay, we can explain this thing here. The value of a product to an average customer is V, the average price that a firm can charge on a consumer for that product given competitive pressure and its ability to segment the market is P. The value of a product to an average customer is V, the average price that it's cost of the product, that average price that a company is charging against that product is called P. The average unit cost of producing that product is C, and the firm's profit per unit sold is equal to PC, while consumer surplus per unit is equal to VP. Do you understand this? I mean, the profit per unit is equal to PC, and the total money for the value, the greater the consumer surplus, the greater the value of a money the consumer gets. The firm makes a profit so long as the P is greater than C. Mean firm can make profit as long as the price is greater than cost, and its profit will be its profit will be greater if the cost is lower than the price. Then if the proportion of cost and profit proportionately cost is lower than the price, then the profit will be greater. Totally understandable thing here. The difference between V and P is in part determined by intensity of the competitive pressure in the marketplace. The lower the intensity of the competitive pressure, the higher the price charged relative to V. Of course, again, the understandable thing, if the competitive pressure is low, the companies can charge the higher prices against that value that they offer. Agar on the other hand, if the competitive pressure is high, companies cannot charge extra for their products against the values that what they're offering. In general, the higher the firm's profit per unit sold is, the greater its profitability will be. Okay, this is again the totally understandable thing here. If price per unit sold, price of each product is higher, profitability भी higher होगी. Okay, now this is a small quick review question. What is the rate of return the firm makes on its invested capital? Rate of return on its invested capital. Choices are profit growth, profitability, net return, value created. What do you think? A or B or C or D? If you go back on the slide, on the third slide, you are going to find the answer of this question. Okay, profits can be increased by, there are several different ways to increase the profit. The first one is adding value to the product so that customers are willing to pay more for it. The first way to increase the profit is increase the value of a product. Bring something new in the product, bring something new or something different, improve the quality, improve the services what you offer. These are the three normal ways to adding the value. The first one is improve the quality of the product, improve the services, or provide the services or improve the services after the sale or during the sale of the product. The third one is improvise the product, customize the product according to the need of the customers. These are the three ways, and when you do these three things, of course you are going to make some unique features of the product as well, which will differentiate your product from the others. This is called a differentiating strategy. These are three ways how they do that. And the second way is, and these things, when you do these things, important thing is when you create value through either of them or all of them, then what's going to happen? You will be in a position, the company will be in a position to charge higher prices. Okay, the second way is lowering the cost. The second strategy is to increase the profit, is to reduce the cost. That's another people, some firms can do this thing, they can follow this strategy. Michael Porter, that we had already discussed about this guy, argues that superior profitability goes to firms that create superior value by lowering the cost structure of a business and or differentiating the product so that a premium price can be charged. Okay, according to Porter, that profitability can be achieved, again he is repeating the same thing, that it can be achieved by differentiating a product, mean adding a value, or through reducing the cost. Companies can go for either of this choice, or they can implement both strategies to increase their profitability. Okay, strategic positioning. This is another term. Michael Porter argues that, we continue talking about the Michael Porter, that firms need to choose either differentiating or low cost, like we discussed, and then configure internal operations to support the choice. Strategic positioning, this is the important thing. They can choose either of them. Either they can differentiate their product, or they can reduce the price, reduce the cost. These are the two things. But the third thing, this guy is proposing that after them selecting some strategy, they have to make changes within the organization to support that strategy. They have to configure internal operations to support that choice. This is important, to change the internal configuration of the system, internal structure of the organization to support that strategy. To maximize long-run return on invested capital, firm must pick a viable position on the efficiency frontier. These are the three different things that Porter suggests that firms should do to maximize the long-run return on the invested capital. The first one is to pick a viable position on the efficiency frontier, configure internal operations to support that position, and have a right organization structure in place to execute the strategy. Pick a viable position, we had discussed about the efficiency frontier. To increase the efficiency, for differentiating your product, they have to choose among three things. They can choose one of them. Then configure internal operation to support them. They have to configure their internal operations. Internal operation mean the production, marketing, distribution. These things, they are after sales service. These things they have to configure to support their strategy. And the last one, they have to restructure their organization, or they have to choose the right structure for their organization in accordance with their selected strategy. Okay, this is a strategic choice in international hotel industry. On the vertical side, on the vertical line, increase value or differentiation, and on the horizontal line there is a lower cost. If we see, it's some sort of arc between this thing, that it's a efficiency frontier and strategic choice in this area not viable in international hotel industry. Soon you are going to reduce the cost. You're going towards the reduction of the cost, and gradually, if you go towards the horizontal line from towards the rightward direction, you can see value or differentiation is going down. Like if you go towards upward direction, where differentiation is differentiation or value is increasing, you can see the cost is also increasing in that direction. In that way cost is increasing, and in that in this way cost is increasing, and in that way cost is decreasing, because there is a low cost. Or in upward direction, we can see that value is increasing, or differentiation among the other product, among the existing products is increasing, and downwards decreasing. Okay, the explanation of this figure is like this, that the convex curve, this is a convex curve which shows that Economists refer to as an efficiency frontier. The efficiency frontier shows all of the different positions that a firm can adopt with regard to adding value to the product V and lower cost, like V on the vertical line, C on the horizontal line, assuming that its internal operation are configured efficiently to support the particular. Here there is one assumption that internal configuration is aligned with that strategy. Note that the horizontal axis in the reverse scale moving along with the axis to the right implies the lower cost. The efficiency, and you have to note down, this is the not the increment of the cost. This is the on the horizontal line. This is the lower cost. Cost is going down in this way. The efficiency frontier has a convex shape because the diminishing returns. Diminishing returns imply that when a firm already has a significant value built on its product offering, increasing value by a relatively small amount of requires significant additional cost. The converse also holds. When a firm already has a low cost structure, it has to give up a lot of value in its product offering to get additional cost reduction. This is the trade-off between the cost and the value. If you are going to increase the cost, then you are going to get the differentiation or value. If you are going to reduce the cost, then you have to compromise with the differentiation or the on your value of a product. That's why this is called convex. Okay, a firm as a value chain. A firm operations can be thought of a value chain composed of a series of distinct value creation activities, including production, marketing, material management, R&D, human resources, information system, and the firm infrastructure. Okay, we had already discussed that value creation activities can be categorized as primary activities, which are R&D, production, marketing, and sales, and customer services. And support activities are information system, logistics, human resource. These are different activities that we had already discussed that can be used for creating the values. Okay, now again a quick question. Which of the following is not an example of primary activity? Better thing, not. Logistics, marketing and sales, customer service, or production. You have to make a wild guess, then go back to the previous slide, and you can find the answer of this question. Okay, graphically we can see this thing that sport activities are above, and below is given the primary activities. Primary activities are R&D, which leads to production, then marketing and sale, and then customer services. And sporting activities, the company infrastructure, logistic, information system, human resource. An important thing about this figure shows that all the sporting activities are in fact supporting the primary activities to reduce the cost to create value. This is the important thing. Or a second way, this is the first way to increase the value. The second way is to reduce the just create value or reduce the cost to create value. These are the two things. R&D will help you to provide them something new, some uniqueness, direct create value. Production might directly create value, the quality of products. R&D uniqueness are some ubiquitous features, they can create direct value. Marketing and sales, you are differentiating your product through marketing, or through marketing you are selling in bunch, economy of scale concept. You are availing the economy of scale concept through bunch marketing, the batch marketing sort of thing, in a huge bulk. And the last one is customer service. Customer services create values by offering better services than your competitors. And important thing is human resource affects all of these primary activities. Logistics affects all of these primary activities. Information system, it affects all the primary activities. And company structure, to execute all these things in proper flow, in more efficiently. These are the supporting activities which affect some primary activities. Okay, international firm can. Okay, now the thing is the relationship between how international firm, when they expand, how they to what extent they can earn the profitability and profit growth. International firm can expand the market for their domestic products offering by selling these products in international market. This is the first intention of international business. This is the one way they can do: expand the market for their domestic products offering by selling those products in international markets. The next one is to realize location economies. Location economies by dispersing individual value creation activities location around the globe where they can be performed most efficiently and effectively. The first one is whatever they are selling in the domestic market, they can they find the new market and then start selling those local products to international market. That's the first thing they do. And then in the next point is location economies by dispersing individual value creation activities to location around the globe where they can be performed. Okay, in the second point, consider a situation when Japanese automobile industry went to Europe. What they did, they brought their management uniqueness or production uniqueness to that market, and this is called location economies. Realize the location economies where the individual value creation activities, they are bringing the value creation activities to those locations where they can be performed more efficiently and effectively compared to that market, local people of that market, local companies of that market. Like what they do, the multinational companies nowadays doing in the developing countries. They come in our countries and they can create value by operating more efficiently and effectively. They are what they are doing, they are realizing the location economies. This is the second concept. Third one, realize greater cost economies from experiencing effects by serving an expanded global market from a central location, thereby reducing the cost of value creation. Okay, greater cost economies. Realize greater cost economies from experiencing effect by serving an expanded global. Okay, the first thing is might be they can start their production in some. They can relocate their production to the market, to their bigger market. For instance, the focus of one German company is to sell their products to India. What they can do, they can shift their production to Bangladesh or some closer, like for instance, that will be more appropriate. For instance, that a US firm, there is one US firm, and their big market is Italy, a European market, but the firm is US. What they can do, they can start their production in Marrakesh to avail, because this is very close to each other, the Italy and the Morocco, and they can relocate their production from USA to the Morocco, and they can experience effect of serving an expanded global market from the central location, thereby reducing the cost of value creation. This is the one thing, and from that position they can serve the whole Europe and Africa as well, at least the North Africa. They can do that. Just realizing the cost economies. And the last one, earn a greater return by leveraging an invaluable skills developed in foreign operation and transferring them to the other entities within the firm's global. Okay, because of this international activities, might be they have learned some new experiences, because of they have learned the international business and their human resource management. Their management will be more skillful after doing the international business. They will make better decisions after some experiences. And this is called earn a greater return by leveraging any valuable skills developed in foreign operations. Because of the experience what they learn, they have developed the new skills, and because of that new skills they can make more profitability and increase the profit growth. Expanding the market. Okay, the first one, leveraging product and company. Firms can increase growth by selling goods and services developed at home intentionally. The success of firms that expand internationally depends on the goods and services they sell and on their core competencies. Okay, the first point there, if we see the firm can increase growth, they can increase growth by selling goods and services developed at home internationally. Like they are just exporting those things. Again, beside the exporting idea, or besides the operation of exporting this export, they should have a core competencies. This is also a determining factor of their success and their profitability. Their success skills within the firm that competitors cannot easily match or imitate. These are called core competencies that your competitors don't have that skills. The company should have the core competencies besides the export business, export activity. The third one, core competencies enable firm to reduce the cost of value creation and to create perceived value in such a way that premium pricing is possible. Okay, core competencies, why would they need? In third point is in fact the explanation of the second point. Why they need core competencies? Core competencies are the competencies which are not imitatable by your competitors. Such competency which your competitor don't have that, or not easily available, not attainable. Okay, but these core competency will help to create the value and to reduce the cost to create the value, and this value will be charged in the market. Because when you have the value of your products, then you will be charged more from the customers. Like Toyota has this core competencies in producing high quality and well designed cars. They have the core competency on the high quality car. McDonald's, they have this production core competencies. Walmart, they have the information system core competency of this information system that they have. And the Electrolux, again the production, high quality management and high quality productions. Location economies. When firm based each value creation activities at that location where economic, political and cultural conditions including relative factor cost are most conducive to the performance of that activity, they realize location economies. The economies that arise from performing a value creation activities in the optimal location of that activity wherever in the world that might be. Okay, firm base each value creation activity at that location with economic, political and cultural condition including relative factor cost are most conducive to perform that activity. They realize economic and location economies. Location economy is a concept where they have to relocate their production, where they see this thing that from the economic, political and cultural perspectives, from these perspectives the cost of production will be reduced. This is the main important thing, and they can charge higher prices by providing the values to the customers. By achieving location economies, firms can lower the cost of value creation and achieve a lower cost position, differentiate their product of it. By achieving the location economies, of course their cost will be reduced. Because of the cost will be reduced, they can offer their product at the lower cost, and they can differentiate their product from others because of the lower prices. This is a really interesting case study of a small manufacturer, Clear Vision, of eyewear distributor. And this is the company, their strategy and their vision, how they increase their profitability and profit growth in international market. And this is really small quick case study, and in this case study is available in the book. Okay, if we quickly go through this case study, that Clear Vision is a manufacturer and a distributor of eyewear, started in the 1970s by David Glassman. Today the firm generates the annual gross revenue of more than 60 million US dollars. Not exactly small, but no corporate giant either. Clear Vision is also a multinational firm with production facilities on 3 continents and customers around the world. Clear Vision began its move towards becoming a multinational in the early 80s. The strong dollar at the time made US-based manufacturing very expensive. Low-price imports were taking a larger share of the US eyewear maker, and the Clear Vision realized it could not survive unless it had begun to import. Initially, the firm bought from independent overseas manufacturers, primarily in Hong Kong. However, the firm became dissatisfied with these suppliers' product quality and delivery. As Clear Vision volume of import increased, the government decided the best way to guarantee quality and delivery was to set up Clear Vision's own manufacturing operation overseas. Accordingly, Clear Vision found a Chinese partner, and together they opened a manufacturing facility in Hong Kong, with Clear Vision as the majority shareholders. The choice of Hong Kong location was influenced by its combination of low cost, skilled workforce, tax breaks given by the Hong Kong government. By 86, however, increasing industrialization of Hong Kong and growing labor shortage had pushed up wage rates to the extent that was no longer a low-cost location. In response, Glassman and his Chinese partner moved part of the manufacturing plant in mainland China to take advantage of the lower wage rates there. The parts for the eyewear manufacture at the plants were shipped to the Hong Kong factory for final assembly and then distributed for the makers in the North and South America. The Hong Kong factory now employs 80 people, and the China plant between 305-400. At the same time, Clear Vision had begun to look for opportunities to invest in foreign eyewear firms with reputation for fashionable design and high quality. Its objective was not to reduce the manufacturing cost, but to launch a line of high quality designer eyewear. Clear Vision did not have the design capability in-house to support such a line, but Glassman knew that a foreign manufacturer that did. Clear Vision invested in factories in Japan, France, Italy, taking a minority shareholding in each. These factories now supply eyewear for Clear Vision's Status Eye division, which markets high-priced designers eyewear. If we see this thing, how they move from USA first to Hong Kong, why they did that back in 1980s. The production within the USA was expensive as compared to production in other countries, and then first they started to import products from the Hong Kong. Then later on they started to they were not satisfied with the quality of the product, and then they installed their production facility there in Hong Kong with as a majority stakeholder. And when they realized that the cost of production is increasing, or we can say that the low cost, low wage profit is no longer available in Hong Kong, they moved to mainland China. And but they kept their assembly in the Hong Kong and production in China, and then they distribute their products in USA. And later on, they expanded their business because they don't have the R&D facility and the design facility, and they did the merger with some sort of collaboration with some Italian, French, other companies as a minority stakeholder to enhance their product line of products in other lines. but their focus was not to reduce the price, but to keep the price same, but to introduce new products in that discipline. That was the this is the small and interesting case study, and we learned this thing, that how they different concept, that there was some trade-off between low cost, like we had studied this in creating the value through reducing the cost. First they created the value directly. Could they do that? Or second thing is to reduce the cost, or third thing is differentiating their product and reducing the cost. What sort of strategy they used? This is what you can think about. And in the later stage, when they collaborated with the other companies from the European countries, what sort of their strategy they opted for? Did they go for the lower cost, or they differentiated their product from others? These are the things that you can think about. And in the end, we quickly go for a quick recap of the today's lecture. We did discuss about the firm strategy, which is considered as the action that manager take to attain the goals of the firm, and the main goal of the firm is to make the profit. Profit is defined as the rate of return the firm makes on its invested capital, and another thing is profit growth, which is the percentage increase in net profit. Expanding internationally can boost profitability and profit growth. It is measured that the firm is measured by the difference between the price and the cost. Higher the value consumer place on the firm's product, the higher the price that firm charge from those products. Profit can be increased by adding the value and by lowering the cost. Michael Porter argued that the superior profitability goes for the firm to create the superior value by lowering the cost and differentiating the product so that premium price can be charged. To maximize the long run profit, firms can pick a viable position on the efficient frontier, configure internal operation to support the position, and have a right organization structure in place to execute the strategy. Okay, international firms can expand the market to domestic market, realize location economies. They can realize greater cost economies from experience, and earn a greater return by leveraging any valuable skill developed in foreign operations. These were the main important points of today's lecture. Thank you for today. Allah Hafiz.